Have you ever struggled with creating a design to use on your laser cutter? Well, I have. And while I've designed a lot of my own graphics and vectors and SVGs and stuff, I've also bought quite a few. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at a service called Cuttle. It's a website that has both free and a paid tier, and it allows you to create all kinds of really unique items in literally minutes. Have you seen these little things, these graphics, these ornaments that have a bunch of names on them? It's all connected, has a year, star, hole, all of that. I tried to make one of these last year and really just gave up. It was difficult for me to figure out all of the graphic design behind it, and it just wasn't worth my time. Well, Cuttle allowed me to make what you just saw in about a minute and a half. I mean, literally start to finish. You type the names in, it takes care of the rest. So today we're going to be going through from the beginning to the end, from designing the ornament in Cuttle, exporting it, bringing it into Lightburn, getting your material on the bed. I'm going to take you through step by step on how to make one of these. And I just finished cutting this one. Let me look over here. It took 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And I believe that's even with a little bit of pause time in there, so I can move the camera to get a different angle. So you're talking on my 80 watt, it took about 2 minutes to cut that. And it took me maybe a minute to design it. And if you're doing batches of them, they take less than a minute each. Really, it's an extremely easy process. So with the intro there out of the way, let's dive into how to make one of these Christmas tree ornaments that is sure to be one of your best sellers this year.
To start off with, you'll go to the Cuttle website, which is cuttle.xyz. And from here, you'll see, a lot of templates that you can browse. And we're going to be choosing the Christmas templates. And so that's right here. You'll click, it'll kind of show you all of them. And we're going to be specifically doing the family name tree. And so once you're on the family name tree page, you'll see that there's a text box that comes up. This is a pro template, so if you don't have pro, you won't be able to use this. But you really just change what you want the top to be. I typically choose star. You can leave it angel or whatever you want. And then start typing in all of the names. As you can see here, I'm typing in lowercase, it's converting to uppercase, and it's also not putting them in the order that I typed them in. Instead, it is putting them in the order of longest on the bottom and shortest on the top. That's something that you can change under the advanced settings, but that is how it is defaulted, and honestly, I really like that. You can also change any of the font sizes and stuff. That's where you can change whether or not it's automatic or not, as well as the auto capitalization. Like I said, I prefer the capitalization, and I also prefer the automatic sorting. So you can also, however, choose to make a single word larger by adding plus signs. This will reorganize if it's auto sort, or smaller by adding minus signs, and again, this will reorganize with auto sort. That's a really nice feature, and you can change the fonts and everything because you have to have Pro to use this template. You can also add your own font if you want to upload a font and use branded fonts or any of that, and that's really, really nice. You can also change out the year for a trunk, and one of the reasons you might do this is if you wanted to make this a year-round ornament, something that you might not just have a year on. It just makes it a little bit simpler. Totally up to you. And then you can also have it make a backer. So this will separate the whole from the star and cut out two separate pieces, one being the backer piece, one being the front piece. I really don't do that when I'm making this ornament, but you totally could make it a stacked ornament. It would look great that way, and adds a little bit something different. Cuttle is also smart enough to make things a different color. Here you can see that the cut outline is red, the regular outline is black, and if we go look at another ornament here, you'll see that it looks like everything is cut separately, but in this vector, there are two different colors again. One of them being blue, one of them being red. The blue is actually your score line. So in this design here, you would change your settings to be faster and lower power. To score, because then it looks like all of those pieces are individually cut, even though it's all done as one thing. So now we'll go ahead and go back to the family name ornament and get ready to export. So we'll click download as SVG. I'm not going to worry about changing any of the names. You can type whatever you want your name to be for the file there. Change it from SVG to PNG, PDF, or DXF. And there's also 3 different settings. If you're using Lightburn, just use standard SVG. DXF doesn't have any options, but SVG you can change it to Glowforge or Cricut. And now we will save the file and then jump on over to Lightburn. Now in Lightburn, once we have the file loaded, I just dragged and dropped, we're just gonna really set our settings. And for this, I'll make sure that everything is set to black. We'll check the sizing. Now the sizing will vary based on how many names you put in, how wide you want stuff, and all that. But you can check the sizing up there, and you can also resize it if you want it to be a little bit smaller than what it imported as. That would be very simple to do. And if you've used Lightburn for any length of time, you know you can just type it in that upper left-hand corner like I'm showing right now. But I'm going to leave it at the size that it originally came in as, because I believe that that's a good size for it. And now we're going to select our layer and then go over to my material library, flip things over to millimeter because that's how I work, change it to the 3mm cut settings, and now with those settings loaded in, we are ready to jump over to the laser, get the material loaded on the bed, and then start making this ornament. Here I am loading the material on the bed. I am using Eco Birch from Smoky Hill Designs, though I am migrating everything over to True Flat, and True Flat is just available at more places. So it's a very similar product to Eco Birch if you've used it in the past. And now we are going to get the laser focused, which this laser does have autofocus. If not, if your laser doesn't, you can just manually focus it. But we're doing that. Gonna go ahead and bring it back to the origin and begin the cut. Actually, before we begin the cut, and it's funny that this happened. I always forget to frame, but I didn't here. So I'm framing to make sure everything is gonna lay out correctly. And now the cut goes. This is going at 20 millimeters a second, 65% power, with 30 PSI of air through my shop air assist. And it cuts through this Eco Birch like butter. You can see just how quick and clean it does. I had paused the laser there to just reposition the camera, and it is still just cutting great. This is real-time cutting, by the way. This overall process, this overall cut took right at about 2 minutes, and the design process, you can see, really just takes seconds, especially for the fact that all you have to do is type in some names, make a small change if you're going to make a change to the star or whatever, and you'll be good to go. If you're doing a bunch of these, if you're doing 5, 6, 7 at a time, then you'll be in even better shape. They'll be even faster for you to generate, and then you can just tile them in Lightburn, and that'll just make it so much easier to cut down on time, and really time investment start to finish in a project like this. And I know I'll talk about this later in the outro, but time investment is maybe 3 to 4 minutes per ornament, if it's even that much. And this uses minimal material, maybe 15, 20 cents, 30 cents on the high end of material, at least from my calculations. So, you know, it's really a affordable project for you. You should be able to sell these for $12 to $15. And they are sure to be a bestseller. I know last year, for a lot of people, they were. And I tried to make these ornaments last year, but I just couldn't figure out the design to make it to where it made sense time-wise for me. So the fact that I can use Cuttle to do it is awesome. And now it's kind of going through and doing the outline. And I love watching the laser come to life. Now, when it does come time to clean this, I'm going to show you how I clean it. And this is something that I did not always do, but I'm so happy that I found. And that is to use a melamine sponge. You'll see it here in a moment, but a melamine sponge is basically a magic eraser, just the generic version. And I buy mine on Amazon. I've got a link in the description for them. They are fantastic, and they take away this char in literal seconds. So I just wet it a little bit and then come in and wipe it. And you can see already I'm using hardly any pressure. That char is basically gone. Now it does kind of smear around some of the char, so it gets it off of it, but it smears it around a little bit, as you can see. So then I just come in with a damp dry cloth, just out of a bag of rags I buy at Lowe's, and wipe it down. And here you can really see it going to work on the back. I'm hardly using any pressure. Again, just a slightly damp melamine sponge, and it really takes care of the back. And then I just, again, go back and wipe it off with a rag. And from there, we're ready to put a string and anything else on it. My wife and I tried a bead on it, and we didn't like the way that a bead looked, but we absolutely loved putting this ribbon on it. It looks great. I think these are going to be a big seller for us at our upcoming event that we have this coming weekend from when I'm recording this. But yeah, there's the ornament. You saw how quickly I was able to make it, how quickly it was able to be cut out.
Now that you've seen the process start to finish, wasn't that really easy? I mean, honestly, it was fantastic to be able to make this in Cuttle. Now, Cuttle did provide me with a pro account, not necessarily in exchange for this video, more so for me to just use the service and tell you guys about it in general. There's been no money that exchanges hands. There is a affiliate link and a discount code in the description if you do sign up for it. I believe it's 10% off if you use my code and link. But you don't have to. You can just go right to Cuttle. You can bypass it all if you'd want to. It doesn't add anything to it, but it's totally up to you. But thank you so much to Cuttle for giving me that pro account, letting me make stuff like this. I'm so excited to be bringing this to a show. While I won't be making these on site, I will be taking orders for these while I'm at my show this weekend and throughout the year as we close out this kind of season of shows. We're just now at the beginning of October. Got the whole season ahead of me. This will be with me at every single one. You saw it just took a few minutes to cut out, and I'm so excited about how great this looks. Now for material, I believe I've already mentioned it. I haven't recorded the voiceover yet, but in case I hadn't mentioned it already, this is Eco Birch from Smoky Hill Designs. I am actually migrating all of my stuff from Eco Birch over to True Flat. I can just get True Flat from more places. In fact, there's a local supplier who's maybe an hour and a half away from me that I can get True Flat from. So by migrating over to that material, I'm able to just be able to call him up and say, hey, I need this today if I really got an alert. So I'm really excited about that aspect of migrating to that. But either way, whether you have Eco Birch, True Flat, or just pre-finished plywood, being able to wipe it clean is a game changer and makes it so much easier than having to sand anything or whatever. But yeah, this I'm sure will become a bestseller for you. I believe it will for me as well. I know that last year these were super hot and most people couldn't make enough of them. So I'm really excited to launch this. It'll be launching on our store, in fact, later today. But that's gonna do it for now in this video. We are trying a new format for Q4 of 2024, regardless of when you're watching this, that's when we started. And my goal is to be 2 videos a month, 1 video every 2 weeks. And it'll be Tuesday at 8 a.m. will be when the videos release. I'm saying that here to try to hold to that. I've already got the rest of the year videos planned out. Up next, we'll be using my X-Tool F1 Ultra, which is just to my right, at a craft show. I'll be bringing that with me this coming Saturday when we do our next pop-up. And I'll be doing that to engrave jewelry. We will be engraving ornaments. I'll have some blank ornaments cut out so that way I can engrave those on site. And I'm really excited for just the possibilities and what we will be able to accomplish with something like the F1 Ultra on site with the 20-watt diode and the 20-watt fiber. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know exactly when we release that video. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, there's a button for that too. And also, if you have any questions or you have any video ideas, please leave them in the comments below. I do my best to respond to as many comments as I can. I can't always get to each and every one of them. Or sometimes a comment just really doesn't need a response. But I do try to respond to as many as I can when I can give you a good answer to help with whatever you ask. So be sure to leave a comment down there. Thanks again for watching. Hope you guys had a great one. We'll catch you in the next video.